How about now? Thanks, Nitro Freak, for the heads up. Yeah, my phone was connecting to my phone, or the headphones were connecting to my phone. Sorry. Joe Girding, what's up? Jersey Jason Gas RC, how you doing tonight? Hybrid 324-94. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Nitro Freak, how you doing? So yeah, the USA-1. I started breaking it in yesterday. I got 4 tanks idled through it. Kyosho's break-in the manual is very vague. It just says idle for or run for 5 tanks and don't go over full throttle. Very vague. I'll actually grab it and I'll read it verbatim. So I tend to like to follow the Traxxas break-in method. The Ski-Doo. Nitro Freak. If there was snow, I'd be ripping that Ski-Doo. It was damn 60 degrees out today. Hey, Ryan, what's going on? So here, let me find their break-in procedure. How to break in. The carburetor is set at the factory for the proper break-in. Do not adjust the settings. Understandable. Be sure the air filter is installed and secured when running. Self-explanatory. Do not change the throttle trim on the transmitter without proper understanding of the function of its effects. Right. But everybody who runs nitro knows that you have to advance that throttle just a little bit. Yeah, we had snow, and then it melted. It's crazy weather up here, man. Gas Monkey RC, what's up? GWT 181, what's going on? Vance, what's up? When starting the engine, be sure that the tires and wheels are installed on the vehicle. Right. If the engine is started on a stand with the wheels off the ground, do not rev the engine to full throttle. It can cause permanent damage to the engine. Right. Over revving the engine without a load on it. And then when holding the car above the ground, make sure that it is horizontal. Do not apply full throttle. Right. Do not apply full throttle when the car is flipped upside down. Very, very basic stuff, but it's for they basically write the instructions for anybody. Fill the tank with fuel. Switch the transmitter on, and then the receiver. Cover the carburetor with your finger and pull the starter cord. So I always prime it by plugging the exhaust. Both ways work, obviously. Attach the air filter. Connect your glow rod. Hold the car steady, then pull the recoil to start the engine. Now, here's the break-in. Sorry. I wasn't even reading the break-in. It was a separate instruction. They have a restrictor plate that they want you to use for the break-in on this on this Kyosho engine. Honestly, I haven't. I mean, I haven't done much with a lot of other companies besides HPI and Traxxas, so that was a little weird to me. But I'm sure Nitro Freak or Hybrid could let us know if that's anybody else has seen that. Right. And I've blown in that the exhaust tube before to pressurize the tank. So here's where I got their braking procedure. Without going full throttle, run through 5 tanks. Take care that the fuel tank doesn't become empty when running, because this can increase the RPM rapidly when the engine leans out. And that's all it says. Don't let it run out, and run it for 5 tanks, and don't go full throttle. So that's basically what I did. I figured go by the manufacturer specifications. My braking procedure is usually above and beyond. So, but yeah, I mean, I like the way the truck looks, and the engine runs phenomenal. This engine ran phenomenal. But the problem is talking with Kyosho support, they got a whole batch of one-way bearings that didn't have any oil in them. They were dry bearings. So that's what's causing the issue. It's the one-way bearing on the first gear, I believe. But yeah, she is a beautiful, beautiful rig. Beautiful. This body is just incredible. Good detail. So, me being me, I had to preserve that body, and I painted myself a bash body. And this thing is probably one of my best paint jobs to date. And I don't like tooting my own horn, but I did a very good job cutting this out for the cooling head. And I don't have any runs or bleeds in the paint. So yeah, I'm very excited with that. Right, yeah, that body, and I'm almost thinking of considering buying a second one of these just to store. I'm serious. I like it that much, just the way it looks. And I mean, I know that there's a bunch of people buying them right now, but one day this is going to be some worth something to a collector, I think. So I'm going to tear into this now. And this is a very simple designed RC. You can't get any simpler than this. I mean, it's very simple. You got your steering servo, throttle servo, and that's basically as complicated as it gets. So, but what I'm going to do to access everything is I'm actually going to pull this engine and just get it out of my way, because I feel like that's going to be the easiest thing to do here. And then also remove the fuel tank. Yes, soap and water before I painted. And my wife has this soap that she buys for washing the kids' bottles or the baby bottles. And we don't have any kids that have that use bottles anymore. So I used it to wash this, and it actually worked really well. It's like it doesn't leave a residue, so that's why I used it. It's meant so it doesn't leave that soap residue for the child. Right. They'll discontinue it just when everybody's buying it hybrid. Typical Kyosho fashion. Thanks, Chef. Thanks, Chef. I don't know if it's specific for plastic, Jason. I just know it doesn't leave a residue. I gotta get 2 screwdrivers on this mount for the tank. Probably not necessary to remove the tank, but I figure once I get it out of my way, it'll be easier to access this transmission, seeing how I haven't messed with it before. I am noticing, though, that stuff has Loctite on it, which is nice. Little overflow tube on your... And I am going to say, kind of like what Hybrid said in his last video with the oil on his Savage, get yourself a silicone extension for the end of the exhaust, because just from the braking, I'm getting oil all over the chassis here. Yeah, a luxury brand. Yeah, I want to run at that pit one day too, Chef. Get this throttle linkage out of the way. And then I'm going to pull the engine off of its mount. And I'm going to leave the mount in so I don't have to reset the mesh. Because this is meshed nice. If I can. Moving. Bent drive shafts, huh, Chef? Oh, You know what? It looks like they got this set up so that the mesh is preset. Yeah, you really can't change the mesh on this using the engine. I'll show the bottom of the chassis once I get it out. I don't have a fancy webcam. I'm just using the thing on my computer. Curtis Baker, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, Chef, looks like you had a lot of fun today. That picture you put up on your community feed definitely looks like you had a good time. But how could you not have a good time at that pit? Take the set screw out of the bottom of the exhaust. You got the engine removed. Kyosho 0.25. Excuse me. The other thing I noticed is when this is shipped, where the shock position is, there's, here's your rear shock tower. They have it set up here for this the rear suspension to be lower, and I'm pretty sure that's to get it in the box. But this shock here touches the header. So if you're doing your break-in, you're going to boil your shock oil. Just a FYI to anybody who buys this truck. So yeah, Kyosho America. Guy's name was Derek. He handles all this. He's handling the USA-1. They recommended. He said they're going to send you gears either way. He said, but if you want in the meantime to try and get yourself up and running, he said take it apart and then take the one-way bearings out and use silicone diff oil to oil them. So I got this Roven diff oil that I'm never going to use because look how thin it is. So that's what I'm going to oil these bearings with. You can barely hear it shift. Such a close ratio, really. 3-in-1 is even better. Yeah, I have 3-in-1 too. I will see what it looks like. But yeah, if you here, I'll show you the bottom of the chassis. Right here's the engine mount. It looks like they got it set up to put a small bore in too. And then you got the small block and the big block, and you only have that much. There's not a whole lot of travel there. So it looks like It looks like you just pull this collet, right here, and then this is like a slip joint. Don't want to lose that set screw. My one way's from blowing so fast. All right. It is 8 scale, yes. Honestly, if this is the only issue I have on this truck, I'm all right with that, because I didn't want to snooze on it, like I said in one of my previous lives, just because of the fact that I snoozed on the Mad Crusher, and I kind of kick myself in the butt all the time because I really wanted one of those Mad Crushers, just because it had like that 79 Ford body on it, the high boy, the dent side, and I'm a big Ford guy. All right, so that does unscrew. All right, take the rear post off. This rear training mount. Everything on this is very accessible as far as the getting to the hardware. I don't like that it's all Phillips. 90% of it's Phillips heads. But everything's very accessible. The only reason why I pulled the engine was for my own sanity. I probably could have did this whole thing with the engine in. All right. Let's remove that second collet. Able to get the sprocket off. This little brass, there's a little brass bushing in there. Chain drive too. I just think that that's cooler than hell. Have a chain drive monster truck. I like it. That chain's going to stay on the lower sprocket, and the tranny is out. Buy it now or it's gone. Yeah. I said this before, but these USA-1s Nitro are just an old school and cool, man. Yep, 100%. Yeah, tomorrow's the engine party, Jersey Jason. I'm loading up the XLT, and I'm making the short trip to Vance's house. Sorry, I had to turn the heat down. Making a short trip to Vance's house and meeting up with Wade. And the The engine party. I like that. All right. So it looks like. So it looks like this front bearing. It looks like everything slides from the outdrive end. So, all right. That shim stays with that gear. That's all screwed together. All right. So this bearing's grabbing. But we're going to clean it up. Snacks. Somebody want to take care of Lorena? All these porn bots on the damn YouTube lately. So it looks like these are adjustable. You can adjust your shift points. The problem is getting to them while you're driving is not feasible. Yep. This first gear one-way bearing is stuck. So he said that they're going to send me another shaft and the new first gear parts. And then I think he said they're sending me the second gear drive as well. Yeah. Training on the timing wheel. Gurus, what's up? How you doing, buddy? The HPI Baja 2-speed got take on and off to adjust my JADO. To adjust my JADO, I can do very easy. Get all the parts you can. Yeah, so, I mean, most of these trucks now with these 2-speed transmissions, even the hybrid, that Savage XL, you can change your 3-speed very easy, right? You just got to take out or take off the plugs or whatever, the dust plugs. Sorry, I'm sitting here contemplating how to get this one-way bearing off this shaft without ruining anything. I might just dump some 3-in-1 right down on the shaft and see if it'll free it up. Second gear has to be removed on the XL. All right. Yeah, I never had a chance to run a 3-speed XL 5.9. All right. See if I can free this up a little bit. Because I don't see any way that's grooved, so the bearing can't go any further than that way. Oh no, hold on a minute. All right, we got her. It was just a piece of crap on there. And this, all right, we got her figured out now, fellers. So, your first gear drive clutch is pinned to the shaft. That's why I couldn't get that out. It is pinned to your the shaft here. And this does not have a one-way bearing in it. It's pretty windy here right now, so if the stream cuts out, I lost power. But I don't see that happening. I'm pretty close to the substation. All right. So this bearing is shielded. We have a shielded bearing here, so oh, don't want to lose that. That bearing grabs pretty good. So I'm just going to oil everything up here and then put it back together and hope for the best. I mean, you could see that it was grabbing, but none of these gears are tore up. Not like these gears here, nothing's tore up. So get that in like so. I'm wondering if they're saying to use this because it's thicker than the 3-in-1. I don't know. 3-in-1 is tried and true for me. I put that shit on everything. Like the Frank's hot sauce. I put that shit on everything. Work it into that shield, past that shield. Wipe off the excess. Get this back in without, because that's just a yeah, that bearing is, there we go. That bearing is tight. But it rolls good. Careful if you use heat, it has plastic case usually. Oh man, there's need for a hammer. Watch, sometimes the factory they put one way on backwards also, yeah. Frank's right. Yeah. Come on, man. I'm from Buffalo. We put that shit on everything. All right, and then that goes on there. And there is a shim between the second clutch and the third clutch. Or the first clutch and the second clutch, I should say. And then these go on like this. Oh. So these bearings, these one-way bearings are all pressed into the they're all pressed in to the clutch. Three-in-one works the best. Yeah, thanks, Vance. Yeah, if you guys didn't notice, I set my shop up a little differently, and I'm still working on it, but now I'm staring at the wall, but gives me a lot more room. Feel like I'm in detention again, staring at the wall. How do they know that drive pin's in there? That's going to make me nervous that that's going to fall out. Put that shim in backwards already. But let's get everything nice and oiled up. Put that shim on like so. There we go. See? I was already trying to put it on backwards. It was like that. But the good news is you can really only put this together one way. Is what it's looking like. This is already much better already because this thing here, these were all locked up from the factory. No, the first one, there's a bearing inside this gear so that this all free spins. So I got this backwards. This is your third gear. This is your second, and this is your first. So first gear, the one-way bearing on your first gear, which is your largest gear, is attached to the bearing. So that way, when your clutch grabs first gear, it's going to spin your shaft. Second gear is on a clutch attached to the shaft. So that way, when the shaft gets up to speed, it throws out in your second gear. And then third gear is pinned to the shaft to lock the whole thing up. I probably got that wrong, but that's how I'm looking at it. I probably got it way wrong. But simple minds, I guess. Or mind. I only have one mind, right? Oh. All right. Right. You're right. I can use retaining compound on the pin, but the pin goes inside that bearing. Thanks for stopping by, Chef. I appreciate it. So this slides over. Sorry, guys, if I'm confusing everybody. I'm sorry. All right. So this gear goes on this clutch, which is pinned to the shaft. So see the bearing inside here? That goes on, and then that sits inside there. That pin isn't coming out because it's inside that bearing. There's a shim. See the shim on there? In between these two clutches. This clutch here has a pressed in one way, which goes, get the dog hair off of there, which goes inside there, inside that other clutch. Like so, with the shim in between. This gear here goes next and goes over that. Goes like that. Then the next shim. And then finally the last gear, which also has a one-way, which is screwed to the whole assembly. So yeah. But when I first got this, all three of these gears were locked up. The MXE makes you want to grab a handful. Yeah, me too. I wish the weather would cooperate. And I thought it was kind of weird when I was spinning it over that I couldn't spin these freely. And I thought, man, there's no way it's messed up in the box. But it was messed up in the box. But it doesn't look like I messed anything up running it like that. Gonna toot my own horn again. I did a good job on that. Sorry. I don't like I'm not one of them people who likes bragging, but I think that came out killer. Here's our parts. Alrighty. So it does have the coolest little chain on it, though. And I thought it was a plastic chain at first, but it is a steel chain. Yep. She's a steel chain, all right. Yeah, thanks for that. I am proud of it. You know, and you got to be proud of your own work. It's just I don't want to feel like I'm bragging about it. That's all. Get a hold of that bad boy. And then, man, I can already tell this chain's going to be the death of me. Actually, I think that. Yeah, that's all right. I'm just going to check the manual. I want to make sure I put this transmission back together correctly. It comes with a nice exploded manual of everything. Just thumb through it real quick and see if I can find the 3-speed transmission. All right. Okay. All right. Perfect. I would have put it together wrong. So there's a bearing, and this is the rear mount for that on the opposite side of the output. Right, smaller parts. Quick question: when you put the shock limiters on a 5th scale, do you tighten it up all the way to the arms are level or less? You mean like limiting straps? Ask Jason about that question. I'm not sure. I've never used limiting straps before. I'm going to use this purple thread lock I got. It's gentle. Gentle thread lock. But I guess if you use enough of it. And this shaft is grooved for these collets. So this is how the exploded view says to do it. It says put this side on. Wipe the extra thread lock up. It says put this side on. Make sure everything's good. And then put your out drive on. I probably should consider using limiting straps when I'm jumping that berm at that one spot so it doesn't sag the shocks out too much. But not something I've ever considered doing myself. It's not that hard to do. I should consider doing it. So, get the upper sprocket on. I got to look at these. I'm wondering if I can change the gear ratio with the sprocket. Like, you know how the Raminator, you can change the way the sprockets are laid out, and that changes your high and low gear. All right, that's in. We'll back this out so that I can get some Loctite on this. Looks like it had orange Loctite on it. Now it has purple and orange on it. And there is a groove in this shaft. A keyway. Man, that wind's whipping out there. If I can just find it. All right. I got that facing up. There we go. A little bit of play and everything. That's snug. Let me put the screws back in the base of this so that I can make sure the sprocket's aligned with the chain. Limit straps for off-road are the same as droop screws, so level is what most racers want, but not a huge off-road racer. Also helps the drive cup stay in the other drive cup. Otherwise, you can put a bind and snap a cup. Perfect. Thanks for that information, guys. Man, I want to hear that 3-speed in this. Just get your heart thumping. You know, when you hear your little RC car shifting gears. You'll never hear an electric shift a gear like that. All right. This actually isn't bad. Wipe the excess Loctite off. And then I'm going to put a couple drops of 3-in-1 on this chain. Which is probably just going to make a mess inside when it's running, but I'd rather have the chain oiled. All right. So, oh yeah, much better. These, yeah. I think we got her now, fellers. Yeah, I love that sound. I love two-stroke nitro everything in general. The smell, the smoke. I have to get some aluminum polish for my pipe. I have some aluminum polish here somewhere from the motorcycle, Neverdol or something. I don't like putting Neverdol on aluminum though. I'm sure it doesn't hurt. Again, I'm gonna come back with the. Oh, you know what I wanted to do before I put this in. Tighten this screw back up. Forgot I backed this screw out on the one of the engine screws on the mount. I backed it out, so I just tightened it back up. White diamond is the best polish. The suspension, once I get these bolts back in, I'll show you. I will crack open the shocks and go through them. They're pretty. It's adequate. I mean, it's not stiff to the bone stiff or nothing like that, but it's adequate. It's pretty much comparable to any other RTR I've ever owned. 8th scale, that is. USA-1 has a built-in stand, yeah. It has a built-in wheelie bar, too. I love these Chevron tires. They remind me of the real deal, man. Just get these in so that I can hold the engine and then set my mesh. Boy, that wind's rip whipping. Yep, I'm gonna take the XLT with me tomorrow, so that Wade can see his masterpiece actually in the truck. I feel like he always ships them out and then he can never see them, so he'll actually get to see this one through. I'm excited, man. He puts a lot of time, and he does. He treats every engine like it's his own. Right, yeah. We already know the 71's going to break stuff. Just going to slope back here a little bit. Set this mesh up. Huh. right there. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Sorry, I forgot I was on stream for a minute there. I forgot I stopped talking. Another porn bot. Here we go. Block user. Build, break, fix, repeat. Yep. Basically a big money pit. Well, I mean, a money pit that you love. RC is like crack. Wade told me the other day, he said, you know, you're home with your family every night. So what? You spend a little money on RC. You could be somewhere pissing it down a urinal, which is absolutely true. So it's one way to look at it. Excuse me, fellers. Yep. All right, that's back in. Mm-hmm. These things always piss me off. There we go. All right. Pull this set screw out and lock tighter. So weird using tools this small again. Been running fifth scales for. Heck, I couldn't tell you the last time I ran an A scale or worked on one. But yeah, it looks good. Nice. I'm here. Detroit Performance is our crack. Yeah. I'm not kidding when I say this. Deal of the day is my homepage on my laptop. When I open up Google Chrome, that's what pops up as deal of the day. tank. And all this oil on the side of the fuel tank right here, that's just from the chain whipping it. I thought my fuel tank was cracked when I first got it, when I pressure tested it. And it's just from the chain. So the chain does come pre-oiled. Oh, Nitro Freak, that thing you put on Facebook today, kickstart my heart, man. I watched that this morning. I was dying. I'm like, oh my God. The 80s were rough on everybody, I guess. Some people just haven't fully recovered. I mean, look at Ozzy. What do we got? Servo wires, which is fixable. Get out of my way, servo wire. He actually sang that? I thought it was somebody superimposed that. Yeah, I thought somebody superimposed his over his voice. Well, then, if he actually sang that, it's not funny. Get that tightened back up. Get the excess Loctite off of the steering linkage. So there's a suspension. It's because he was so drunk and high he couldn't even sing the damn song. He only sang for 30 years or so. How do you forget your lyrics? Yeah, I mean, but like I said, man, all those guys are fried. You know what? They put so many hours and they played so many shows. and they put themselves through all that, you know, that must, you know, as much fun as they were having, that must have been rough. Everybody wants to do rock star stuff until it comes time to do rock star stuff, I guess. But he's I'd still like to go see him in concert. Access stand is the best in fact, you know, and I really want an access stand, but I can't justify to myself spending $500 on a stand. Not saying I'm not going to get one, but a little bit down the road. And yeah, this is by far one of the easier, well, not the easiest, but it's easy to work on. The stuff that Traxxas makes has a lot of computerized stuff in it that I don't particularly care for, that Opti drive that they have. Not saying you can't get rid of it, but right. But the reunion tour. They're worth the money if you gotta be happy. I don't like spending it either, but I got mine a little cheaper through Botagel. Barstool and Lazy Susan. Yeah, that's a good little stand you got there, Vance. For sure, a good option. Good strong servo. Can turn those big tires from a stop. And you think of the scale of this thing to the tires. And honestly, I was looking at this thing, and the front and rear axle are very similar. So I'm almost thinking that if I really wanted to, I could convert this to four-wheel steer. Ooh, which way we're going? Oh, we're going here. Sorry. It looked backwards in the camera. Got to fire it up and check my work. So guys, if you want to turn your volume down, I'm going to fire up a nitro inside wearing earbuds. So the sound coming through your speakers, I'm sorry. Just a warning for anybody else is wearing earphones. ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it didn't work. It worked for about a minute. And then it was doing the exact same thing. I can smell it. Yeah, it wouldn't. It worked. It moved, but it's doing the exact same thing it was doing before. It's not even catching. So I wonder if it's something in the clutch belt on the engine. Because it literally, yeah. Now the gears are all locked up again. Guess it's time to pull the motor again. But it fired right up. Sorry, this is how I empty the fuel tank. I could suck it out with the bottle, but that way it at least goes through the filter. Make as many jokes as you want. I know how bad that just looked. Hello, sir. I'm a scribe since the begin. Hey, Barry, what's up, man? I don't think I've ever seen you in one of my my streams before, but thank you for your support, man. Oh. I walked into that one, I guess. Oh. Oh, that's great. So yeah, we're gonna pull the engine out now and see if something is wrong inside the clutch belt on the engine. Because if that's the case, I gotta email Derek at Kyosho back. But it feels like the transmission's locked up again, so I don't see how the clutch belt could be bad unless it's the clutch itself. Gonna fire up a burnout? Yeah. I just fired her up, Chef. My repairs didn't hold. You missed it. All right. Well, now they're free. I wonder if I have that too tight. Huh. All right, we're spinning free again. The dimple port came out badass. Lots of power. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I put a lot of time into that engine. It's something that I felt would be good, and I think it runs phenomenal. I appreciate that. All right, still free. We're still free. If that's the case, and I don't have to pull this engine every time, I just kind of freed up with that. But even still, I shouldn't have to do this. Thing is yet to move under its own power. Brand new. But it did fire up nice and quick. Hey, man. That's cool. Barry Cooper dimple ported his intake following my my video. That's first time somebody's ever told me that, man. That's cool. Come on. Gas tank in the sink. I'm new to porting. Yours was the first ever port that I did. Hey, man, you know what? That's cool as hell, man. I'd never thought that anybody would find anything like that I do. And to hear that somebody did it as well with success, that's amazing. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. When I first set out doing the YouTube videos and everything, I never once thought that anybody would find me at all. And then here I am. One thing I hate doing is setting gear mesh. My fifth scale did the same to me. It drove me nuts. Sometimes it would start, sometimes it wouldn't. Chef, you missed how I emptied that tank. Oh. Oh. Come on. Oh. Bolt just fell on the ground under my shelf. Time for a zip tie. String and a playing card. Oh. Right. Gone forever. So when I set the squish on or checked the squish, I should say. The squish was set by Wade. I just double checked it. On my Monster 45, I did it how Wade does it, and Wade uses a piece of solder. Sorry, I'm just down here looking for my screw. And he takes the solder. There it is. Easy to find. And he pinches the solder in the squish pad, and then he uses the solder as a gauge, and that'll tell him his squish. And he knows how much memory, because solder has a memory, he told me. So he knows how much memory per thousandths the solder has. Yeah. I have a magnet. And I have magnetic drivers, but I'm choosing not to use them because I like these T-handles better. So it's my own fault, I guess, but that one was easy to find. That mesh ain't bad. Mm-hmm. Hey, you may think it's beyond you now, buddy, but you don't know until you try. Reminds me of borrowing. Reminds me of building nitro kits hour after hour. Yep. So let's try this again. I like these nice short fuel lines. Oops. Got to hook up the leakage. The one thing I am noticing I'm not going to like about this, sorry if my butt crack's hanging out. I don't have an ass. I don't have anything to hold my pants up. But one thing I'm noticing is I'm not going to like tuning this low-speed needle because it's hard to get to in between the servo. She's fat rich right now too. I should probably lean it out a little bit. Yeah, let me lean it out a little bit. Again, it runs really good. Something ain't grabbing right. Loosening it up a little bit. Maybe I had it too tight. I don't know. I'm puzzled. Puzzled. Let me catch up on the chat. Hey, man. Dude, editing. I do all right, but it aggravates me. I don't like doing it. But hey, anybody can do this. You can just take little videos on your phone if you want. It's not a contest. It's it's your preference. So it was weird. It's weird once I put the clutch bell in, they all spin together, but it's a solid clutch bell, so that makes sense. But they are spinning freely. It's revving up, it's spinning, and then that bearing slipping. So it's letting. I'm trying to figure out what it's doing. It's letting it spool up, and then it's catching and it's lurching. It's weird. I can't explain it. He said, the guy from Kyosho said, don't let it do that. It's not good for it. I wish I could get it to go. At first, I thought it was just too rich, but it's not moving at all. It's slipping. So it starts rolling, and then the bearing's slipping. So tear it down again, I guess, or wait for the new parts. I just have, because everything was grabbing. I mean, you guys saw it. Everything was working good. I just can't. So this is, I know what you guys are saying, so we'll do that again. The wheels spin. The wheels spin, and then I can feel it. I can feel the bearing slipping. Well, it did just shift there. I gotta get a crosswind going through here. Get some of the smoke out. Shut that off. Shut that off. It did shift. It shifted a little bit. Yeah, it shifted just a little bit. But it only shifted to second gear. So I don't have to mess around with it. I can't really get a good run at it in my shop or my garage or whatever you want to call it. I want to let you know that I was glad to be able to tell you that I appreciated the tutorial on the dimple board. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I do. That's great that I haven't heard anybody say that to me before, and that's great. I appreciate it. Yeah, you're right. It is. It's very rich. So, yeah, I'll have to mess with it tomorrow. So I'll screw with it. See what I can come up with. One second, guys. Still really warm outside for being December 16th. FPV, what's up, man? I wish I could get this thing to run. Well, it's running, but you know what I mean. We'll get it. Very smoky in here. Hey, man, that's dog shit. No, my dog, he ate my stash. Barry Cooper, if you're still in here, I think I remember you leaving me a comment one time with your phone number. And YouTube did its famous, I could see it in my email, but I couldn't reply to it. Now that I was trying to think, I remembered your name from somewhere, if you're still here. Or they censored it because you put your phone number in it. But I'm on Facebook. You can find me on the SRE Customs group. Cheech and Chong, yeah. How's the Monster 45 running, Steve? I like the way you're I like how you set up your rig, man. Hey, Big John, what's up, boss? Yeah. I should just use my fingers. Man, that wind is just whipping. Try this one more time. I'm trusting that my fuel tank is sealed this time. That's cool. That's real cool. You can remote start that Raminator. Me and Chef were just talking about the Raminator earlier. So, all right. Okay. You have to pull the engine. Can dig it. We'll try this one more time. Third time I'm not asking. I'm telling. I like the Raminator. It's not my type of RC, but it is very cool. Wade builds Raminator engines. Yeah, Wade has built a couple Raminator engines. He uses a 6-pedal reed, I think, is what he puts in them. I don't know. You'd have to talk to Wade about that, but yes, I do know. Maybe Vance knows. Wade does build Raminator engines. So I basically said this to Chef earlier that the size of that end or that truck, and I mean, I know it's fine if you're a skilled wheelman, but to have something like that with RC Max power in it and taking it somewhere and then having an accidental runaway, that would scare the crap out of me. But like I said, if you're a good wheelman, it doesn't really matter. This is all spinning free. So so let's try the diff oil now. Weight is very affordable. SRE Customs. Um, yes, Wade is very affordable, and he does, you know, he does good work, and he's honest, and he's not gonna, you know, I'm not trying to talk the guy up or anything, but Wade is very affordable, and if you want to learn something, he'll teach you. So I recommend Wade to everybody. Yeah, I hear you. That or your kill switch malfunctions. But yeah, I'll never run without a kill switch. I have in the past when I first started with the fifth scale. I did run without kill switch, but I think that they should start putting them in, and if they have to raise the price 25, $30, whatever a dynamite kill switch costs. I mean, the roving kill switch is cheap. If they have to charge for it, I mean, it should be in there. That's just my opinion. Oh, I'm going to work this in a little bit. Still see all the smoke in here. I'm going to put a little bit more on these. I mean, even the guy from Kyosho said this probably, he said, it might work, it might not. So he said, if I want to give it a shot, give it a shot. He said, you're still getting parts either way. But to keep you up and running in the meantime, go for it. Jesus, take the wheel. Now is that Jesus, take the wheel, or Jesus, take the wheel? Let's roll, RC. What's up, man? I don't think I've ever seen you in here. Welcome. There you go. Getting your USA-1 for Christmas. Well, two things I could tell you. One, check your 3-speed tranny. And two, move your shock so that your header's not boiling your shock oil in your shock. This is a problem on all the USA-1s. The guy told me that he told me that they got a bad batch of one-way bearings. Like Carrie Underwood, chef. I'm not a very good-looking Carrie Underwood. Thanks, Gary. So all you need maybe is new bearings, and they should replace the one-way. Yeah, it's he said they know what's wrong. He's just gonna send me the parts. I can't remember exactly what he said. I know it was one-way bearings, and I think he said the second gear drive, or the second gear out drive, which would be that second gear clutch. I can't remember off the top of my head. He was kind of in a hurry and on his way home for the day, which is understandable. He's like, oh, thank God I came back to check my answering machine one last time at the office before I went home. So, but I ended up getting this thing for a smoking deal. A-Main had it on their or had the coupon for Cyber Monday. I ended up getting it for like $480. It would have been cheaper if it wasn't for New York State having to get their hands into it, because they can't leave anything alone. And by that I mean tax. They sent me a one-way bearing and a second gear cam. You get double taxed. Well, no. New York sales tax. I don't know if it's New York State or if it happens everywhere, but like it used to be, if I ordered something off of eBay, I wouldn't have to pay New York State tax or any spot where I ordered off a line. And this has been for probably 4 or 5 years now, where if a New York State resident ordered offline somewhere, they wouldn't have to pay New York State tax. But somehow it got changed, and now anytime a New York State resident shops online, the place is required to charge New York State sales tax, even on eBay. But I don't know if that's everywhere. New York State tax is like almost 9%. It's ridiculous. It's like 8.75, almost 9%. Can you tell me how to tell if the transmission is good to go when I do my break-in? So I noticed it was slipping after. So the Kyosho manual basically, I read it at the beginning of the stream. It's very vague. They kind of basically say idle it without going over full. They don't want you to go full throttle with it for the first 5 tanks, which is pretty much standard, industry standard. But you'll know when you get it on the ground and it's not going anywhere. And then it'll rev up, and then it'll rev. And as it starts to rev down, it'll catch, and you'll see it lurch. And Derek said, don't let it do that because that'll mess everything up. Yeah, man. I remember it was like my senior year of high school. We went to bed. We went to bed. Cigarettes were like $5-6 a box, and we woke up and they were $10 a box for a pack of cigarettes. And I tell you what, that made me as a 18-year-old not want to start smoking. So I chewed tobacco. And then I quit that when my first kid was born. Because that was getting expensive too. No more gas in Cali soon, yeah. They're trying to do it in New York State too. I just read something today that by 2035 they want all ATVs and like personal use stuff to be zero emissions by 2035, and by 2050 they want the auto industry in New York to be completely electric, zero emissions. But they don't see the giant natural gas power plant or the coal-fired power plant, because it's a common misconception that people think because Niagara Falls is right in my backyard that's where we get our power from, which is not the case, because all the power that comes out of the falls gets shipped across the country. It doesn't even stay in New York State. Right, more money for RC. All right. So, after the third time mounting this engine tonight, we'll fire it up one more time. All right, done. Dumber rats. Right. Let's roll. Bones Brew all the way, buddy. It's like $9-10 a quart. But yeah, I mean, nitro fuel's expensive. I was running Torco. Torco's good, but it's just too expensive. So I switched to Bones. And I like the Bones Brew. Let's see. Right. Yeah, I didn't add any caster to it. I think it was pretty high in the caster percentage. I believe it was 20. I bought 20% Torco when I was running Torco. Running 30% Bones. Fire it up one more time for old time's sake. I like this Kyosho remote too. For an RTR remote, it's pretty nice. Easy to set your endpoints. Oops. Never hooked up the throttle linkage. It'll work a little bit better now. Well, it was hold on a minute. Well, I was able to hold on to it. Oh, Castor's making me sneeze. Excuse me. At least it was off the table. Yeah. Have to catch it like the TBXL. 62 mile an hour wind gust. Yeah, it's pretty windy out there. The thicker oil worked better, Jason. This stuff here, man. I just use this cheap Roven diff oil that I'm never going to use for anything else. Thanks, Let's Roll. I appreciate it. Yeah. So hopefully, now that I got that figured out, hopefully it'll run and shift. I don't want to smoke the tires too much. It's the Roven diff oil. It comes with the Roven RCs, the fifth scales. Yeah, I'll give it a good run test tomorrow before I run to see Vance. I gotta load up the XLT. I should probably empty the gas tank in that. Not that the gas is bad or anything. I just don't want it spilling around my truck on the way. I'll probably put it in the cab of the truck because it's kind of windy out there. I don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow anyways. But I'm interested to see how the Roven 71 pipe that Wade modified to attach to the Bartolone header, I'm interested to see how that's going to work. Because the header size is right now. If you look at those Roven headers, it's actually the same size as this one. This teeny tiny header, like 3/4 inch. Might even be like a little bit smaller than 3/4 inch going through here, because this hub is 3/4 inch. I don't know what the ID on this is, but definitely not 1.25 inches, like I think the Bartolone pipe is. So, yep, that's my plans. I'm glad that it's running. It's running, and I'm able to get traction now. So that's good. That's very good. And I'm repeating myself, but hey. Oh, we got a nice piece of candy came in this week from our brothers from across the pond. It's for the FT IRC rear chassis. I don't care who you are, you're not bending this. And I just bought this to stiffen up the FT with the SRE 45 in it. It's a Monster 45. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Let's Roll. I appreciate it. Yep. But I'm actually gonna turn it off here for the night. Go home, or not go home. I'm home. Go in and get some sleep. We'll visit the USA-1 tomorrow. Where did I put it? What am I looking for? this body. I'll put my bash body on. Got to have the bones brew. Hopefully, I could be yelling 3-speed, baby. Like my brother Hybrid. The Nitro Guru with the Nitro Gang. Yelling 3-speed, baby. So, all right, guys. I'll catch you later. Thanks for stopping by. Watching me struggle as always. But I'll see you on the next one.